Hello, welcome. Hilary Raven Porter here, Ascension Guide and Mentor, Full Spectrum Healer, Tamiana Star Seed Oracle, and today we're going to try something new. They're excited. So what we're going to do today is, well, it's a new moon, so it's kind of, it makes sense why over the last couple of days they're like, it's coming. When I say they, I mean council, my guides, whatever, the intuitive knowing, the transmitters, whatever you want to call it. Call them, they, me included. I don't remove myself from the situation when these things happen. I am still present. So it's a collaboration. And then today they're like, you must do this, or must, but they're like, nudge, 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 hello, nudge, nudge. And it's the new moon. Kind of fitting. So what I want to do is we're going to do some transmissions. And I hesitate from calling them channelings. If you watch my videos before, you know the light code that comes through. And the reason I hesitated calling them channelings is because it's a connection into the consciousness. I am part of the consciousness, you're part of the consciousness. I'm not just channeling through one single individual or one group of individuals. It used to be that it was the sisters mostly or only that were really coming through in collaboration with me. And you can see it, hear it, feel it in the transmissions, because there's the ways that I speak naturally. And it's right, because it's what happens when we're around certain people. We start being a little bit like each other. So I hesitate in calling them channelings for the fact that I'm still present. It's my experience, my knowledge, my wisdom, their experience, their knowledge, their wisdom, their gifting. Sometimes it's more them, sometimes it's more me with a hint of them. It's all of that. Also, when I picture channeling, I picture, or what comes to mind for me is that the person that is channeling kind of steps aside and they just become a conduit for just whatever's coming through. And they're just kind of sitting back being like, yeah, go for it. You utilize my being to be the transmitting, be the speaker system. And again, that's not what happens with me. And so what's a little bit different about today, about this little transmission, is I'm going to do it closer to what I do within some of my sessions. When I'm working one-on-one with people, offering guidance in that way. So what usually happens during especially a Sacred Heart Tamiana session, but it can happen during any session of consciousness, and I'm noticing this coming more and more and more and more, is the transmission comes through and I'm typing. So there is an English translation, we're going to loosely call it a translation, that comes through. That is then sent with the follow-up email with any other pieces of guidance and lifestyle support, spiritual guidance, ritual work, whatever else comes, herbs to lean into, stuff like that, food. I think I already said diet. Anyways, so they get the transmissions as well to go back and read. Sometimes there's poetry that comes through, sometimes there's music. I know for about a few years ago, I can see clearly now the song came through for like so many of my clients when we were hitting the third eye, when we were doing a foundational Sacred Heart Tamiana session. And it made me giggle every time. Sometimes it's ritual work. Sometimes if it's an expansive, there's wording that expands your consciousness when you read it, that it raises your vibration when you read it, when you hear it, those kinds of things. So if you followed along on my YouTube, on my Facebook, on my Insta, any of the places I inhabit on the web, you can see these sessions of consciousness, or these not sessions of consciousness, but these consciousness transmissions that come through during session. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to transmit and I'm going to type. So there will be some parts where I pause and type. Sometimes I'm typing more, but the light code's coming through up here. There's other times where I'm speaking and typing at the same time. And then there's other times where I'm just speaking and not typing. So it's a highly variable process. And then my intention is to is to include the text within whatever form you're watching this on, to include that within the descriptions down below. Okay, how's that sound? Okay, well, that's what's happening. So these can be accessed if you're wanting so these are for the collective. All sessions are for the collective, even if it's for the individual. So transmissions that come through, and that's why they get shared without any attachment to being's information from the session that it came through or anything like that, because they're transmissions that benefit the collective. Because when we heal ourselves, when we're doing the healing for ourselves, we're healing collective. When we heal the collective, I don't even want to say heal. When we shift the vibration of the collective, we shift the vibration of the individual, and vice versa. When we shift the vibration of the individual, we shift the vibration of the collective. That's why they're intermingled. So as you do the work, you're supporting everybody, including along the timelines. Future timelines, past timelines, timelines of the now. Okay, so let's see if I can so that I can still see you. Me and electronics one day, I swear, I'll figure it out. Because sometimes I get it, and then sometimes I'm like, what did I do with that? I'm trying to figure out how to do the pop out. Maybe we'll just do that. No? One sec. I could do that way. Should see after I do a session. A full session, and then the bits are good to go, or a workshop or a gathering. It doesn't necessarily matter. But trying to use electronics afterwards, it's pretty entertaining. Let's just say that. It's very entertaining. You know, you go to press the button. I go to press the screen. I go press the screen. And like I'm like that far away from the screen, and it's already pressing things. Oh my god, so crazy. So alrighty. Because see, now it looks like I'm looking down here, because now that's where I'm gonna do this. And that's a lot better. Okay, I see tai to bo go to tai do bo bo to da bo wo ti tai do bo bo ti tai. But it to be to go to capacito da cha cha cha. I invite you to play along. I invite you to close your eyes or relax your gaze and just allow the frequencies to come, to work their way into your cells, and to create the shifts that are needed, to keep what your being needs now and to release what your being does not need now. Baya goa gaya nata baya bia baya baka goa bakatita shabasiti tayo to baya ki but to go boya basiketa ko bo tita tishtiki to baya kia mama to na to baya maboa bo bisiga to boo akiko Pakiku aya Kutitututu batike to the Maya, Bokukaji, the Debati to the Maya Matika to Goaya, Baya Kia Kia Gaya, a Baya E, Maya, Matika. So Kokati to the Baya. Kibu titai to do the Batabaya, wow, go could say about ticket a baya. Ki could sit about the Batiketa Baya. Boo! Kitita the Bocati Taya, Topaya, Ki. The Basikituko Bocasina. Kina. Baya Ki. Kia Baya, Baya, Baya. Kima Aya Baya. Pihakonai tatato kisi tatato matito boba. Aya sitaya bobaya sitaya to taya chitaya bakasi chito boba chita chito ba amasi. Chita to the busita chito bu aya chita chito kasita ina chita gumaya ki. Hai seto tachita ki atito the bokasi ai chito the makasi. Kiko baya. Kiwu kasi. Viveki kuchata tukucha baya basita baya. Kiyotai tatabaya. Kikuka chitayo empathy oda wow wow wow. Kikut tai. Bukutsitaya, bukutsitaya. Bukutsikutukutabakuka it's ta makasi. Haya tutoja chitba ingutstoba witsitai chitai bu ustaya chitaya. Kibaya chitaya. Uba sititu uba sikataya ba sititu gu aya. Aukutstai buba aya titachi to buka haina tituko but tibachike ko boba batika to boba pachiki tai ngio boba tititu boba ma ba kia bateka but is that but boom ratakatama achindumbo ba iti tito mo kasi I titutu bachiki tikaya kukutaya. Kikota, ha, ha, ha. What's it to the Batikota, Batikata? Oh, Tabati to Mupa Pasitika to check out the go by. Bubuk side style. Dito the good style to Bubati to go by a good style. But you do get a good stir to do by to do that, you do, but you die to do boo. Or by a key. Hikupo boa to die. Because the basi kota the bati to do the batika takaba, what's it to the basi to the bats, the batiki to buy. The Kuchikutaya Maya. Maya Tita Bogotia Titaya. Bogotito to Titikateko, Nimani no the man Baya, Baya, but ticket to go baya key. But Deutsch day, it's Deutsch day, Okotita by Okotiki or Kokaya, Aya, Aya. Itadaya Maya key. Maya must have. Let's just say my spelling is not always the most spot on with these because you know what? It doesn't matter at that time. I see what matters is the message that comes through. And sometimes there's words, and I'm just like, I don't even know what that means. And then I'll touch base with Derek, and I'm like, hey, Derek, this thing came through transmission. And he's like, oh, yeah, that dimension. He's like, Derek, my partner, the cosmic messenger. You've seen him in my videos. You've seen him in my posts. We share a healing space as well as a life. But he's like my encyclopedia of the things that I don't retain, or I'm not so intuitively, there's just things that you retain more easily. And he's just like astral realms, like this dimension does that, and this thing does that, and there's this portal here that does that. And I'm just like, I'm more embodied. Even though I'm connected to the stars, it's the thing. So it's great when I go home and I'm like, hey, I have this question. So would you like to hear the words? Okay. This is the English that came through. So it's not necessarily a direct translation. That's why I said I loosely use translation. Excuse me, it's not necessarily a direct translation. Sometimes it's based on the images that are coming. So I when my eyes are closed, 1, I see stuff, 2, I experience stuff, and 3, I exit to experience it. And so sometimes it's that, or it's the sensation that I'm feeling in my body. And sometimes it's direct translation. So, okay. New moon transmissions from the Sacred Heart Codes. Oh, another thing. Sacred Heart Codes. Why are they called Sacred Heart Codes? So the frequency that comes through is, she's funny right now. So Mother Mary Magdalene is kind of hanging out by my right side, and it's Mother Mary Magdalene. It's not just Mother Mary, and it's not Mary Magdalene. And Sacred Heart Tamiana is the frequency of Christ consciousness as a complete consciousness, not just as the masculine. And the codes that come through are those of, are not those of, and I don't want to say influenced by, infused with. Yeah, is like, yeah, that's good, that's good. So are infused with this light. Okay. This is the time of the opening of the heart, of the portents of the last rising. These are the times of the rising of the brethren within the heart, of the light codes and the light beings within the palm, within the body and upon the earth. These are the moments to take stock of where you have come from. Where have you come from? Which planet, which dimension, which plane of existence, and which moment? This moment is as important as the next, and as important as the last. It is as important because it is the now. How are you living within the now? Are you still living within the moments that held your heart sway and wondering? Or have you released those that held you taunt and in anticipation? Breathe now. Be now. Hold your presence in this space. Acknowledge that you are here now. Acknowledge that you don't know it all and never will. Acknowledge that you are a being that requires time, patience, and understanding, even if these are things that you have yet to receive, yet to experience, and yet to understand. Acknowledge that you are a spirit of time. This time, you are here now. What can you do here now? How can you be here now? What is it that you want to see, experience, be present to? How can you make this happen? This happens when we are the ones that initiate the action, that take the reins, that hold the tower, that prepare the fort and open the doors. Open the doors. There is room for all. There is room for one. This is the passage to the heart. This is the passage to the divine frequency that takes you higher and lifts you up into the light body self that is trying to remember, that is trying to reach you through the messages, the intuitions, the moments of breath. How do you breathe? Notice now, if it is shallow, what are you avoiding? Holding yourself back from. What is it that you are not embodying? If you are breathing deeply, but with a pause too long between each, what are you holding on to, afraid to share with the world? What has you held in limbo, hesitant to step out of the comfort zone of the home space of the body? What don't you trust? What caused this mistrust? Look now. To look is to see is to feel is to transmute and gain the wisdom while letting go of the pain. Time to let go of the pain. Go inward and feel the feels. Go inward and feel your toes curl. Go inward and know the passion and the poison that sits alongside each other, feeds each other in ways that may not be so clear. Become clear. See the ways in which you feed your passions. See the ways in which you feed your poisons. Know the ways in which you hold on to the one that retells the stories that have you in the holding pattern. Poisons can change and become no longer poisons. Passions can change and become those that numb, those that no longer feed. Who are you now? So what to do with these transmissions? What do I recommend people do with these transmissions? I'm just going to move you back over here. Well, this will be a video, so you can go back and listen to the light code. Read through the details below the post, wherever this is. Go through the questions, ask them one by one. You can either write them out. I always encourage not just thinking about them, great. Go for a walk, do some movement, have them ruminating in the back of your mind, front of your mind, in your spirit, in your soul, all the spaces, not just here, in the heart too. And see what comes. And then I encourage you to take what comes through and either record it, so speak it, or write it. Because there's a difference between just having it in our mental sphere and having it out of the being. It processes differently. Especially, and I can't remember why, but there's some studies done when you do pencil to paper, not pen to paper, but pencil to paper, there's something about the texture that triggers the brain differently. How cool is that, right? It's pretty cool. So I encourage you to do that. If you'd like your own personal codes, there's a couple ways that can happen. One, there's full one-on-one sessions. So these are full spectrum sessions, full spectrum multidimensional metaphysical sessions that include everything from nutrition guidance to herbs to lifestyle to ritual to ascension guidance, right? To help you on that, whatever that next step is as you step over that threshold, as you remember who you are, and as you find spirit as it relates to you. Not what you're told it's supposed to be, but we find what works for you. That, as well as frequency work, from acupuncture to tuning forks to crystals to body work, to help the physical being remain in resonance with the spiritual, while also impacting the light body and the energetic fields. That's one. The other way is you can reach out for a 30-minute recording, audio recording, specifically for you based on what you want that for. What is your intention for receiving that light code? So that's two. To have your own personal consciousness. And that there's no session, there's no communication this way. We set it up. I get a recording, I get your intention, I get a recording sent out to you. And if you just want to hear more light code, there's fabulous. I'm flailing over here. Over at Sacred Starseed Sounds on Bandcamp, you can listen to the album that Derek and I did for Exiting the Matrix. Yeah, it's very awesome. We're working on another one now. It's going to be a bit, but that one's up there and you can listen to that. You can also find it on my YouTube set to mandalas as well. So if you want to sink in even deeper, check it out. It's YouTube's Hillary Raven Porter, HRAEFN. I'll put all the links below anyways. And if you liked what you saw, please follow along and share with beings in your life that you think would resonate with us. Okay. Questions, comments, let me know. Okay, so much love and Stardust. I need to go cool down a little bit. Today is one of the heat wave days, and I have the fan off so you don't hear the fan the whole time, but now I need to turn it on. Okay, in Stardusted frequencies, and so much love. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.